through all this, I started to wonder if it was really possible for someone to love you if they really had no idea who you were anymore. Hi, I'm Heatherleigh, the mystic.
And I'm Paul, the skeptic.
We've been together for almost 30 years. I live in a magical world filled with synchronicities, messages, mirrors, and cosmic wisdom.
I live rooted in logic, science, data, and spreadsheets, very tethered to visible reality.
And yet together, we make it work.
We support each other, knowing we're on different journeys with different perspectives and purposes.
We created this podcast to help you find your own middle ground, whether you're in a relationship, a marriage, or a partnership, to offer tools and conversations for navigating the friction that can arise when awakening happens at different speeds.
Or doesn't happen at all. We'll share what we've discovered in our own conscious coupling and give you insights, practices, and clarity
that have the potential to support your union at a whole new level of consciousness and respect.
Keep in mind,
we're not licensed therapists.
We're just sharing our personal experiences with you.
Welcome to the Mystic and the Skeptic. Welcome to the Mystic and the Skeptic. We are your hosts. I'm Heatherleigh.
And I'm Paul.
And we have an exciting episode for you today. I changed, but he didn't. Can this marriage survive? My awakening a few years ago was absolutely seismic, and his was non-existent.
This episode is the raw, honest story of what happens when one partner evolves dramatically and the other doesn't.
So what do you do when you have this massive spiritual awakening? Your whole life transforms overnight, but your partner, he just wants to go ride his bike.
And that's not just a metaphor. That's exactly what happened in our house.
Yeah, you remember what that was like? It was a little bit uncomfortable. I was so excited about what was happening. I wanted to share it with you so badly. And yet, what was your response?
Sometimes I had no idea what to do with it.
Yeah, he kind of looked like a deer in the headlights. We'd try and have conversations and he'd literally fall asleep.
And I remember us going for a bike ride that turned into a long discussion.
Yeah, because I thought bike rides were a great time to have a captive audience about everything I was learning.
And I just started to pedal faster.
Yeah, so there are some bumpy roads through this transition for sure. So we're going to share some of that with you and some of the strategies we use to find our way through it. So I was channeling star beings and writing a book and learning to meditate and learning these really incredible healing techniques and technologies.
And meanwhile, I was studying my spreadsheets and working on things around the house.
Yeah. He pretty much just let me do what I needed to do and pretty much did what he wanted to do, the same old stuff, right?
Yes, we oftentimes did our own thing.
So there was an uncomfortable period where we were kind of finding our way. And I did start to wonder. Actually, it didn't take very long for me to wonder because I was it's hard to explain if you haven't been through a spiritual awakening. When you go through the process, you're just filled with so much energy, so much love and expansion. And you just want to share this with everybody because it's so amazing. You feel like you've never felt before and you just want to share it. And so I would try and share it with my husband, and he really wasn't that interested. Were you, honey?
Well, I felt oftentimes not this that you wanted to share it, but that you wanted me to feel the same way. So sometimes that made listening hard for me because I felt pressure.
Yeah, and so this is one thing we learned kind of the hard way was where the ego kinda got in our way when we were interacting with each other. See, the our egos are designed to protect us. So, as I was trying to share out of love, the ego doesn't like to change. So Paul's ego was reacting to that as if he were being threatened. So there was a barrier between us for a bit until we really had to identify this and sort it out, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it definitely was I guess, a rocky on and off period there for a while as we learned to adjust.
Yeah, and I think we're still finding that I mean, we still have to sit down now and then and say and really dissect our conversations and kinda learn from them, because if we don't, it's really easy just to fall into that habit, right?
Right. It's
It
really like any relationship where things are always changing and you always have to come together and reset and make sure that you're um, in alignment and moving forward together.
an open dialogue, like and also total transparency. We'll get into that in a little bit, but we had to grow a lot in order to really truly see each other fully, and that's kind of the magic that we wanna share with you. But through all this, I started to wonder if it was really possible for someone to love you if they really had no idea who you were anymore. My sudden awakening in 2022 really kind of took us by surprise, and it literally turned everything upside down. Suddenly, I didn't want to do the things that we had always done together. They were no longer a priority for me. They weren't um, as important to me as they used to be. And that changed a lot for us, didn't it? We used to do a lot of things together.
Yes, a lot of our re- relationship was around outdoor activities, mountain biking, camping together, hiking, and this threw a whole new dynamic into the mix.
Yeah, so the dynamic of our marriage, and it's been 25 years now, it had to shift. It really had to change, almost spin and pivot on the spot in order for us to keep up with everything that was changing. I mean, I went from a 30-year medical career to a career as a psychic professional nearly overnight. I mean, that was shocking for me. I can only imagine how shocking it was for everybody else who never saw that coming.
And I've been an engineer my whole career. I like things that I can measure and look at and study. I don't deal well with fast changes and things that happen quickly. So this was all a little bit terrifying for me and left me wondering, am I going to be enough for Heatherleigh? Am I going to be able to make her happy? And if I can't see things the way she does, will she leave me?
So it was rough for a while. We had some really heated conversations. Some ultimatums were tossed around. That that sneaky ego. And some of these conversations resulted in us not speaking for a few days. It was very uncomfortable, not pretty, very scary. I started to consider whether this marriage could really work for me anymore. And I'm sure Paul might have had some of the same thoughts.
I did. Oftentimes, I felt pressured to change into someone I'm not in order to make Heatherleigh happy.
So an emotional separation began to develop between us that wasn't comfortable. And this was fueled by my new, very exciting self realization, accompanied by a very rough, uncomfortable ego struggle between the two of us. And after many, 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 I mean, some of these were 4 hours long, but after many marathon discussions, and some soul searching on both of our parts.
We chose to be honest about our individuality instead of fighting for conformity. Oftentimes, it's easy to try to say the thing that will make your partner happy, even if it's not true. And that's what we avoided doing. We spoke the honest truth, even when it hurt. And through this, we discovered almost by accident that this is where the real connection began to happen for us.
And ultimately, Paul did not conform. He remained his own sovereign being.
Instead, I learned to celebrate Heatherleigh's joy and to be more open to what I couldn't understand, even if I still wonder if it's real.
At any rate, it took us a while. And it also took me a while because I finally had to realize it's not about us agreeing on the same thing. It's about alignment through our actual contrast.
You see, what we learned is that love isn't about being the same. It's not even about compromise. It's about creating something new together.
Creating something with the contrasting pieces of each of us coming together as a whole.
And that's the soul space that neither one of us could have created alone.
That's the exciting part of what we've learned through this journey. We realized that it's not actually about dragging your partner up your mountain.
It's about inviting them into the space in between, where a new consciousness is born.
And listen to Paul talk about consciousness now. I think he might have learned a thing or two, but that was really pivotal for us because we realized that we had come into a space together that didn't exist before. So through this journey that got really rough and ugly for a while, we actually realized that we had created a, a third piece of ourselves that was now the new conjoined version of us that wasn't there before. We still maintained our own individual sovereignty. Paul was on this side, I was on this side, and there was a new middle now that represented this new piece of us that was coming together. Even though we represented separate polarities, there was still a piece of us that could come together and be joined in the middle. That was beautiful to me.
Yes, I guess it was worth all the effort.
You guess it was worth all the effort? So, I mean, even though Paul is left-brained, being the engineer that he is, and he is stubborn, um, he's also still very willing, more willing, I would say, than most husbands probably in this scenario. Would you say, Paul?
It definitely made the effort to step outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not like I didn't get uncomfortable through my own transformation. I I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what it was going to look like or feel like or where I was gonna end up. So in order for both of us to grow, we had to each be willing to step into that space of, discomfort, of, feeling like you're completely out of control and you don't know what's gonna happen next. You have to trust, right? Wouldn't you say that that's our foundation, Paul?
Yes, we've always given each other room to do our own thing and yet come together in the middle. And this takes that to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about having a different hobby or job. This is something that's bigger and therefore more important and more meaningful.
Yeah, I feel like we've just really grown as a couple, even though we're not like, doing the same things. There's still some things we do together. I mean, we still mountain bike together and go on e-bike rides in town and stuff. It's just a different focus for me. It's not my I don't live my whole life around my bicycle now like I used to. But, we just had to shift. We had to evolve. The marriage had to evolve into something new, and it did. And that's what allowed us to make the shift together. Now we don't know where this is going, do we?
It's always changing, always evolving.
It's always changing, and so we always have to evaluate, and we're brutally honest with each other. Is this working for us individually? We always check in. Is this still working? If one of us says no, then we have to sit down and evaluate. So we stopped trying to be the same,
And we stop trying to change each other.
and we started to create that third piece of us, that third partner that holds both of our truths without collapsing either one of them.
And that's where the real partnership began.
Yeah, that was liberating when we figured that out. So, if you find yourself in this kind of situation in your relationship with your partner, we want to offer you support based on our own experience.
With this podcast, we will also include a private solution segment where we will share a few strategies on things that actually worked for us.
Now, we are not licensed therapists, but sometimes just by hearing what worked for someone else who's been down this road that you're currently traversing can give you just the right spark, maybe give you motivation or some ideas of how it can work, or even a new way of moving forward.
If that sounds helpful, head over to our private segment for the show on the hero.fm app. You'll find the link in the episode's description, or you can go to heatherleighstrom.com/media to register. You can join us for free and become part of the conversation.
We'd love to hear from you, your questions, your experiences, or even topics that you'd like for us to cover in the future. So come join us in the Hero app for the rest of the conversation.
And next time, we'll dive into what happens after the awakening. When your growth feels like a threat, your partner starts to pull away, or you suddenly feel like strangers.
We'll cover the identity crisis that can unfold and how to protect the emotional safety of your union through it all. Thank you for listening to The Mystic and the Skeptic. We're your hosts, Heatherleigh
And Paul,
Until next time,
stay curious,
stay conscious,
stay
connected.
connected.
Love ya.